Good morning from Pattaya. Man, I love this place, but I will say there's something special about Bangkok too. See, I choose to live here in Bangkok. This place is absolute madness and I love it. But Pattaya is the ultimate party. But in Bangkok, funnily enough, I can live a much more normal life here. So for me, the things I love about Pattaya is, well, firstly, all my friends are here, or many of my friends are here, and it's a funny thing, the more often I come, the more people I meet and the more friends I end up making down here. But the majority of the time I come down here, it's to hang out with my friends, and I've made amazing friends here. Another thing I really like about here is the prices of everything. It's much cheaper for the most part for everything here really than Bangkok, and especially the area I live in, Bangkok. You know, food's much cheaper here, entertainment's a lot cheaper. If you go out drinking, like that's considerably cheaper here, depending on how controlled you can be. But then I also love to be here, you know, by the beach. I love being by the ocean and being near the beach, and there's all different beaches along here that you can go to as well. So yesterday I went to Bamboo Beach and watched the sunset, and it was so beautiful from there. And for me, I feel good anytime that I'm by the water. And then I also just love the vibe here, especially at the moment. You know, the majority of people that are here on holidays, and you can really feel that energy from people. I mean, especially now because there's been no travel for the last couple of years and everyone's been dying to get back here. And now that people are finally here, you can really see that energy from everyone. You know, I mean, so many people here that are just really happy to be here and just happy to be traveling at all after all this time. So the vibe here in Pattaya is something really amazing. So why do I like living here in Bangkok? And the honest answer is I love this city. There's a real energy here, and I really feel it. You know, I talk about it every time I leave, and when I come back, I feel the energy come back and I get charged just being here, and it's a really special feeling. I just love that Bangkok has absolutely everything. It's such a big city and there's so much to it. You know, if you want to go to parks and temples and on nice walks, you can do that. The nightlife is here if you want to be going out and partying. There's great restaurants, street food, cafes everywhere. There's always something happening in this city, you know, especially for me, creatively making these videos. There's just stories everywhere. There's always something on here in Bangkok. That leads me into the main reason I like living here, and that's because it's so easy to live a normal life here. You know, it's not a holiday, well, it is a holiday destination, but the majority of people here aren't here on holidays, whereas you go to some other places like Phuket or Pattaya and it's a real holiday kind of vibe, whereas here I'm able to live a normal life. When I'm here in Bangkok, I actually don't drink that much or go out partying all that often. It's mostly just doing like kind of normal things. I go out to dinner, hang out at night markets, go to nice cafes, go to the movies, whatever. Just do much more of a normal thing that doesn't all revolve around drinking here. So what are the negatives to living here in Bangkok? I mean, it is expensive, especially the part of the city that I live in. It's definitely more expensive than other parts of Thailand, and within the city, I'm in the most expensive part of the city as well. And that's kind of for everything. It's not just accommodation. You know, my rent is, you know, the rent's so cheap compared to back home, but you know, for living here in Thailand, it is quite expensive. But food and going out and entertainment and all that is more expensive here than in other cities throughout the country. The next one is it's busy, and while like I love the madness and the craziness of this place, it's definitely not for everyone. And when I say it's busy, sometimes it does get annoying to me. You know, if I want to go to a restaurant that I like, you have to wait a really long time for food, or sometimes you can't get a table, or you want to get somewhere in a hurry, and yeah, like forget about doing that. I love going to night markets, and some of them, if you go too late, you can forget about finding somewhere to sit or somewhere to hang out. All these things, I mean, if you live here, they become normal and you start to just accept it, and a lot of the things you enjoy, but it definitely can wear down on you how busy it is here. Then on that is the traffic, and if you've been here, you know the traffic is chaos. Getting around here can be an absolute nightmare sometimes. I mean, this is Sukhumvit Road behind me here, and this is one of the craziest roads here in Thailand. So getting around can be really difficult, not just with the amount of cars on the road, which there is a lot, but all the no right turns, the one-way streets, everything. It does make it really difficult getting around here. So what don't I like about here? There is a few things that I don't like about Pattaya. Now, if I'm brutally honest, there's not a whole lot to do here. I mean, there is if you come here on a holiday, there's tons of things you can do. But if you lived here and you're here every single day, you would run out of things to do, or I would personally anyway. A lot of the fun here actually kind of revolves around drinking and alcohol, and you don't want to do that every single day. Like, not if you live here. If you come here on a holiday, then absolutely go for it, but living here is a completely different story. Another thing is, it's really small here in Pattaya, and everyone gets to know each other, and it's a really small world. Honestly, like, all the people that I've met here and I see here all the time, you see them every night, or every time you go out, you end up running into people you know. And then especially if you're like dating or have girlfriends or ex-girlfriends, you be prepared to see them all the time. And everyone kind of knows everything about everyone here. You know, everyone talks and everyone knows each other. So it's a really small world here. And then I think one of the biggest issues, maybe for me or for anyone that might live here, is it would be really easy to fall into a pattern of going out and drinking and partying all the time, because that's what happens here so much, and that's what a lot of the entertainment here revolves around. And you end up making all friends that are going out all the time. So basically you're getting invited to different things, and there's always something happening. It's always someone's birthday, there's always some party on, or something is happening here. So it'd be really easy to fall into a pattern of drinking all the time or drinking too much here. Self-control is definitely needed if you're living here in Pattaya. So could I live here in Pattaya? I mean, honestly, yes, I could, but you know, for the reasons I've just mentioned, it's not perfect for me. I think if I did live here, I would want to live in like Pratamnak or Jomtien to sort of get out of this area a bit and try and live a little bit more of a normal life. I do wish there was a bit more entertainment, things you could do if you weren't drinking. So, you know, there's a skate park here, which I really enjoy, and I try and visit every time I come down here to do something kind of wholesome for a day. Plus, I think if you did things like exercise and go to the gym and try and look after your health, it would be much easier to live a normal life here as well. I am actually considering getting a place down here. For how often I come and how much I spend on hotels, it would actually make sense for me to get a place down here. It wouldn't be my main place that I live, but it would be like a second place that I could come to every time I wanted to come down to Pattaya. As I mentioned before, for one of the positive reasons that I like coming down here is the cost. You know, it is really cheap to live down here. The apartments are really cheap, especially if you compare to Bangkok prices. But if I got a second place here, I mean, it just makes sense to get a second place instead of spending all this money on hotels. And with the rates of the hotels constantly going up now, I mean, I used to stay in some of these places for so cheap, and now I see the prices and I don't think they're worth those prices anymore. But it's just the demand is shooting up. So I am looking at getting a second place down here probably early next year. Now, one thing to remember is this is just my personal take on my feelings of these two places. Everyone's gonna have different expectations, different things they want out of where they live. You know, I'm a city person. I love the madness of this, but it's definitely not for everyone. I can totally understand that. One thing to keep in mind is I'm also a daily YouTuber. I need to come up with content each day, and being here in this thriving city really helps me with that. You know, if you're retired and you want to live a relaxing life, this might not be the place for you. So I totally get it. So I am curious, and I would like to know what your thoughts are. So if you're living here in Thailand in one of these two places, let me know which one, and let me know why. It's always an interesting read, and I love hearing other people's perspectives on these places too.